How are you?
Good. It's
Aman,
my first time over here.
first,
Speaking in front of these many people.
you never done it before.
First time, so please bear with me.
Okay. Now, Aman, let's go through a few things. We've got a few things we want to talk about. Firstly, what do you think are the 3 to 5 most, I want to repeat, 1 year in real estate, made around $500,000, just over, for himself in personal earnings. I want to ask you, what are 3 or 4 things that you've done in your first year in real estate that you think has helped you get there? And I know the irony of it all is he's still not happy. Like, he's still, every time I speak to him, he's complaining. But that is a sign of a good performer. They always have a discontent on where they are now versus where they can be, right? The only problem that you've got to look, I was a sufferer of that. It's called the gap. You've got to be very careful. You've got to be very careful. You can spend your whole life chasing, and there's a gap. When you're worth 10 million, you're looking at another guy worth 15 million. When you get to 15 million, you're looking at that person who's worth 20 million. So you always have your chasing. I think happiness comes when you realize I've got everything that I've got. I'm going to use my God-given talents to help serve other people. If I benefit out of that, life is good. But if you're constantly striving, and never arriving, you'll go to your grave having a shortfall, right? Be very mindful of it. How do I achieve that? I have one eye looking forward, so I'm still hungry, but I have one eye looking back, where I came from. I remind myself where I've come from. Aman, first time you're talking to a group of people, I want to ask you, what have you, that's an extraordinary start. There's only one other person I knew that did that in a first year. What are the qualities that you think that have helped you get there?
I think 3, 4 things, and I think a lot of people talk about them, but I believe it's the first thing is you need to be trustworthy. Like, people can trust you, and how you get the trust. Like, I made it very simple when I started it, because I was buying the houses. I was buying the house, and I felt there was a gap in the market. So I think first is trust. You have to create the trust. And how you create the trust, if you're really transparent and honest with your vendors or with your buyers. If you're really transparent and honest, that you go into the next level anyways, because they feel like we are a typical car salesperson, who are trying to sell them something. If you're being honest with them, they think you are a genuine, and that's what you need to create. Also, the third thing, I believe it's a hard work. Like, I work crazy 13, 14 hours a day.
So what start, what finish time?
5 a.m. in the morning, sometimes finishing at 12:30, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I signed another offer. I think it was 6 Southbrook that I saw in Hamilton. It was a pre-auction offer. Was signed at 1 o'clock in the morning, because they were only free after 12 because they work in the hospital, and they can only do 1 a.m. in the morning. So I have to do it at 1 o'clock.
Listen, in the early stages, you don't have to even be good. You've just got to be there.
Yep.
As time goes by, you can be less there because you're more good.
Yep.
Okay?
And I think the fourth thing is persistence. And you just need to start doing it every day. And I just feel like, when I started it for the first 2 months, I was like, oh, what's happening with my life? Nothing is coming up. My manager, I know at that time, they said, hey, if you can do 4 sales in the market till the end of this year, it would be great. I was like, nope, I wanted to do more. I just worked 14, 15 hours every single day, did every single thing. I think got around more than 20 sales in that 3 months, in the starting 3 months.
Can I ask you, you did have sales experience, but...
Oh, yeah. So,
but not real estate experience.
No real estate. So I had no prior real estate experience, but I had over 7 years of experience in sales, and I, being a CEO, managing director of the company, I still manage 3 other companies that I like, supplement companies and stuff, but I don't have to go there all the time. Have to go once in a month for a board meeting and stuff. But I have good experience in sales, and actually that's where I learned being honest and transparent will take you longer in this game, rather than just being, like just being very transparent, honest. It is really good.
Okay. What did you do when you first started to get your name out there and get cut through? What was your starting actions?
Okay, I'll be pretty frank over here, and I did everything. And I was like, okay, so this is what I learned very early on in my career. I am not the expert, and I was telling everyone I'm not the expert, but how I can be an expert if I don't do trial on me. So I was doing door knocks, I was doing flyers, I was doing open homes, like 6, 8, 9 open homes a day. I was talking to buyers, meeting people at the cafe.
By the way, everyone, let me tell you, a lot of new agents do an open home on pretty much every one of their private inspections. If they got an appointment at a property at 5 o'clock, they quickly go on to Trade Me, say open home 5 to 5:30, put an open home board up there in the morning, put one outside the property, create a bit of noise, get a neighbour to come in, which is not bad. When you've got a buyer that walks in and you've got a neighbour there, they might think that's another buyer.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the starting I did it. Now I can't able to do it because I didn't have the admin or PA with me. Like I was doing everything. It was hard to manage, but I think just I was doing everything, and I actually found that everything, like most of the things wasn't working for me. So I didn't do everything. Then I focused on few things that were working really good for me. As Diego said, just focus on one thing that or two things or few things that you're really good at and do it every day. And that's what I was doing. I was really good with the buyers in the starting, and I was just focusing on them, talking to them every day, taking them to 10 properties, 12 properties, in 2-3 days where like don't need to worry about open homes. I'll take you to 10 properties before the open homes and stuff. So which was kind of good. So I was doing everything at that time.
You kept saying to me you were a referral agent.
I think yes.
What's that mean?
I think when you were talking to me in the last, the Zoom call, when you were saying where you're getting the listings, and I was saying I don't really know, and that's a fact, right? I don't want to tell you, hey, this is a system, I'm doing this, blah blah blah, all those sort of things. I am an unorganized mess, and that worked for me really well in the first year. But it is true. I didn't know what I was doing in the morning. It was, there's a meeting over here, there's a building report, there's a valuation, there's a buyer. So I was doing everything. But it's for the long term, it's not good. But when I'm talking about the referral agent over here, all my listing, I think I have total, 22, 23 listings so far in this, and in which all came in the last 3 months. And none of them I prospected. All I'm getting calls, all I'm getting a referral from a buyer or a referral from a vendor. So it's being kind of good. Not all online, some 8 which are about to go online, but around 14 or 15 online at the moment. So all of them are kind of, it looks silly, but it's coming to me, which is nice.
Are you getting referrals now?
Yeah.
You ask for referrals?
No, see, so I use it in a very nicer way, so I don't become like a pushy person. So when I do a listing presentation or when I start working with a buyer, so let's take example, if I'm at the listing presentation, and after I get it, I say I'll do whatever it takes to get you the best possible price or best possible outcome for your property. If you would be happy with my services, I don't know a lot of people in Hamilton because I just started. And the thing is, if I don't know, I don't get a lot of listings, I don't get much work. Would you be happy to recommend me to your friends and your family if you would be happy with my service? Just that. And I shut up. And they're like, yeah, all good. And then once the house sells, if the house sells at a good price, or they're happy with my service, I just go back and say, hey, thank you so much for the for the opportunity and stuff. Now I'm not doing it, I have to start doing it, but I used to make testimonial videos, and I just tell them, hey, do you remember your promise? And I just got a lot of service, lot of referrals from there. Like buyers, or they say, oh, I know that neighbor's thinking of selling. I was like, oh, okay, which one? And they was like, oh, it might be that third or fourth house. We don't know, but we just heard in the society. I started door knocking the whole street. I was like, okay, which one is that? Because I didn't know which one. So it's more like the referral, like people telling me, hey, just go there, there's my friend who wants to sell. So which is kind of a good. I didn't expect that, but I think I was lucky.
All righty. Listen, fascinated to see how this journey goes. Unbelievable. First year in real estate. What do you, like, You made 500. What do you want to make next financial year?
See, I think, and I would be a little bit, like in the first year I did that, I think, I don't know what the GCI would be, it would be around 900 something.
Probably about
I don't know, somewhere around there. But I think I sacrificed a lot of things, and I think that wasn't really good for me as an individual. So I sacrificed my health, gained like 15 kgs within a year and a half, which was not right. So now what I'm doing going forward from here, I really want to achieve that $2 million mark or $3 million mark within the next 2 years or something. But I think I'm now understanding having a PA, like that's what I was talking about, the systems, what I have to do. So having a PA, have a buyer agent, so I can take some stress out. I might make a little more, not a lot more, but I really want to take care of my health. At the same time, just maybe writing $2 to $3 million in GCI in next 2 years.
All right. Give him a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Van.
Thank you so much.